Yeah.
what is the current tech stack and how you guys are evolving and what are the challenges you are facing with that?
Yeah. So as like a lot of publishers, we started with WordPress
Mm-hmm.
in back in 2014. We still have changes in our WordPress config file that still lies, which I did in 2014. In 2022, that's the same WP config file being transferred every time from different instances. We started with DigitalOcean and all these HostGator, where everybody used to start in
Right.
2014. Right now, we have a headless CMS setup,
Mm-hmm.
which we did because of the Core Web Vital update that was coming in. It was a long time coming for us. So now our headless CMS setup is that we have our backend on AWS completely. So we have a WordPress instance, an EC2 WordPress instance, a Redis cluster, which we use Elastic Cache.
Mm.
Then we have an RDS setup, which is a master slave setup for our whole backend.
Interesting.
Then we have our data APIs sending the data to front end. Now for those data APIs, you would know that WordPress APIs are super slow. They're just super
Absolutely.
slow because especially at our scale, we have more than 100,000 articles in our database, a lot of history, a lot of edits, all those things. So what we also do is we have an S3 CloudFront layer. So we have an event pipeline, which on publish, update, delete, all these events, we publish the API response in an S3. We
Mm.
use S3 as a cache, and then we expose that API as an adapter on top of WordPress API. So that
Mm.
allows us to be really, really fast because now we are not hitting the WordPress database, but we are actually fetching the API response from an S3.
Right.
Now, this is our backend setup. On front end, we use Vercel. They are, in my opinion, best web performance infrastructure right now,
Mm.
platform as an infrastructure. So because we use Vercel, it means Next.js is our technology stack. Next.js
Mm.
is I would highly recommend that framework. It's a completely serverless Lambda setup. So it allows us to scale really, really easily. We have page caching on top of it, on top of our Vercel instance. So that really allows us to save on our serverless functions spending and just spend bandwidth if we scale. So the front end is Vercel, which is Next.js with page caching enabled. We have the image component. So we have these WebP images coming in, which I'm mentioning these things because these are the things which we faced as a performance bottleneck when we started.
Right.
So ensuring that a right image component with WebP images is there because it
Mm.
ensures that we are the fastest in Core Web Vitals. So we do that. We also use Bunny CDN. It
Mm.
is a good cheap CDN at scale. It allows us to scale. And then we have for stories, we have a different pipeline. We use a tool called Make Stories. They are really good. From there, we wanted a more interactive graphic tool. So Make Stories do that well.
Mm.
From there, the publishing goes directly to our S3, which we expose as a redirect URL on our front end
Mm.
right now. So it's a bit of complicated setup.
So the
I
stack sounds very interesting and it sounds like a lot of work as well. So how
Mhm.
much time it took you guys to actually, shift to headless?
um, I think we did an Unreal sprint. That sprint
Mm.
was amazing what we did. So it was a long time coming. I had personally been reading about it, understanding it, even having discussions with you for a
Mm.
couple of years in 2018, 2019, 2020. Then in 2021, there was an update coming in May, which was really critical for us. The Google had announced that Core Web Vital are becoming
The
critical.
primary thing.
Yes. And we wanted to have that edge that we were ready for it. So on January 30th, I started this project with a good friend of mine, Mayank Barola. He's an amazing engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to do a 3 month sprint
Okay.
to do it end to end. And he was able to build the whole system in 3 months end to end from ideation to making it live. So by May 10th, we had a fully functioning website live with
Interesting.
completely new setup.
Interesting. Interesting. I think 3 months sounds like a lot, but it's not. For you to move from, as a publishing company, I would not say it's a news website, it's a publishing company which is running and publishing hundreds of articles every single day. And every movement is going on, and then you are shifting your CMS suddenly in just 3 months. You've done an amazing job in such a short span of time. I think, and then
Especially at scale, it's difficult to do
right.
because you have like real users and their experience is significantly going to change. Your ad placements are going to change. So keeping these things into account it's difficult to do.